This is a subject that can be seen as a true indicator of the enterprise environmental factors that you have tied to your assignments. Let me give you some examples. You walk into a project and there are no business rules that you can find. Well, just like in the example I gave you with the EEF video lecture, perhaps they exist, but nobody knows about them, or maybe you find out much later in your assignment because it took you a while to find the person who has the info. The lack of business rules is not necessarily a bad thing. It could also mean that the sector doesn't warrant them, or there is a high degree of responsibility on the individual employee, and she is entrusted to follow the path that makes sense for her. Here's another tendency one can observe. The larger the organization, the stronger the reliance on business rules. An interesting aside, within the research for this MOOC, I stumbled across an online and offline publication called the Business Rules Journal and have included this in our course references. Basically, there are two components that we're referring to within this subject. The first component is the business policy, which basically includes the guidelines, and the second part denotes the actual rules, which are actionable elements to the respective policy. So far, so good? We have two different types of business rules, and they are, number one is operative rules. These are the rules in which the organization chooses to enforce as a matter of policy. Their purpose is to guide the actions of people working within the organization. Operative rules may require the employees to take certain actions, prevent them from conducting certain actions. For example, you may do this, you may not do this, or recommend the conditions under which a certain action may be taken. For example, if green, then walk. An operative rule should be possible to be violated by people even if the organization would not want that to happen. If you're asked to be following a rule, then you have to have the choice of not complying, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the second type of rule. That would be number two, structural rules. Structural rules are expected to help in determining whether something is true or not, or when things fall into a specific category. Very often they are stated in it as an if-then scenario. Let me see if I can go ahead and give you an example. If you finish your homework, you can go out with your friends. They are stated as rules since they describe categories that may change with time. Structural rules cannot be violated, but they can be misused, such as life. Do you see where business rules can affect your assignment as a business analyst? Not only do they set constraints, but they may not be always consistent with the organizational processes. How often does somebody change the rule but the process stays the same? Because two different departments are managing these artifacts. Again, such is life. The structural rule for this video lecture was, if you view the entire lecture, you get a thank you from me. And so, thank you and see you in the next round.